Hello, welcome to 2026. I know I'm a little late to the New Year's celebrations, but this is the first stream of the year. So in my books, this is the start of the new year. Also, I have very little facial hair and it looks weird to me. Cool. Let's, oh dear. I got to turn some stuff back on. One sec. While I click some various buttons. Okay. So let's turn on, I think this. Yep, that blanks out all my icons down there, which are needlessly complicated. We turn this on. That's the wave candy. And we turn this, which is the Discord link. And then we turn this, which is the spectrum analyzer, and I think we're good. And then let's close all that. There. We did it. Okay. I guess I probably should have brought in the tracks that I'm going to listen to, but you know me. Okay. Let's see what you guys have been working on. Hopefully the mic volume is okay. It looks like it might be a little low. Blah, 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 blah. No, it's fine. All right. Wow. Starting off the new year with Aiden Dodge's brick of a song here. Lord. I don't know how loud my speakers are. Let's find out. One other thing I need to do is pull up my mixer. Make sure. Ooh, that's a good call. Get rid of some of these dirty things. Yep. Looks like the last track that was sent in got a little bit of treatment. All right. So this one is called Take My Soul. It's very aggressive. Let's have a listen.
I've been trying to find some sort of goddess who can recover my love. I spent a lifetime haunted by the darkness, but now I've had enough. Take my soul away from me. Show me everything I have yet to see.
Why is it so loud?
Set me free. I look down upon myself.
Dude, I've got this limiter at 0 decibels and it's still going hard. Did I do something wrong? I feel like maybe there was a mistake made on this render. I'm not really sure, but that's it sounds like it's been mastered 2 times on top of each other. Like I get that it's aggressive and stuff, but I think this is cooked twice too many times. Like this just kind of straight up sounds like white noise. I'm not sure if this was done intentionally or if there's like a mistake made in the rendering process or something. Like, that's how loud this is. I think that there's probably a cool song in here somewhere, but I think that it's been overcooked just a little.
Take my soul from me, then show me everything I have yet to see. It's never gonna pull me down to me, 'cause it's the last fucking time we gotta fall asleep. Take my soul.
I really like this end part. This end part's really cool. It's probably my favorite part. It sounds dope. I like that part. The track is too loud, man. It's just too loud. And I understand that, like, it's supposed to be aggressive and you know, heavy, but it's just too much. It's too hard to listen to. Like, it's just too much distortion, too much compression, too much limiting. There's just too much. I would dial it back like 50% and see where that gets you. Because I mean, I think there's some cool stuff in here, but it's too loud. The end. I have 2 of your songs. Okay. Sounds good. I will play it once. How about that? All right, Aiden, my thoughts on your track is that I think there might be a cool song in there, but it is way too overly cooked on the mastering, probably, but maybe also in the mixing. It's hard to say. It's just the drop is just like pure distortion. So maybe dial it back a bit and you will find that, I don't know, you might lose a little bit of heaviness, but I think the clarity that you get from not pushing it that hard will more than make up for any diminishing heaviness level that you may notice. Okay, cool. Let's move on. This one's called Atrix Tension Draft 20. Okay. Wow, that was very cool. I think that, sorry, I'm just deleting something here. I feel like this is the first ever fax that a human has received. I think that you faxed me like your tax return or something using audio, and I now have it in my head subconsciously. It's very cool. The sound design is odd. It's very cool though. I like this. It's very unique. I think what I would probably lean into is you have this melody that comes in. So the way that I would look at this is most normal people, well, I don't know if normal people would listen to this kind of music, but most people that would listen to music of this kind, the sound design is going to stick out to them. But that melody that you have, it's weird, but it's cool. And that's going to be the more memorable part of it. People are going to remember that the sound design is crazy and weird and cool, but the melody is what's going to stick with them. So I would probably introduce that melody maybe in the intro. Like to me, the melody almost feels like an afterthought when it should maybe be the focus of the song. You should maybe build the song around that weird melody and then let the sound design exist and let people get lost in the sound design. But the song, the musical part of it, is more of the melody. And that might also, I mean, if you've done 20 versions and you're still only hitting a minute and a half, I feel like maybe if you structure the song around the melody a little bit more, that might help you get out of what I'm assuming is maybe like a rut, because it's only a minute and a half. So I think if I were to take an educated guess, you probably spent a lot of time working on this wacky, crazy, unique, faxing me or tax return sound design. And it's paid off. It sounds dope. But now I think it's okay. You've done the sound design. You've come up with these crazy sonic themes, but now let's make it a song. And the way you do that is by, structuring it maybe around a melody and structure the song around the melody. So I would maybe, instead of like having this big, long, no, I haven't done my taxes yet. They're not due till April. And I tend to do them like May 25th. You have like, So the song itself is only a minute and 22 seconds long, and you have 12 seconds of basically nothing. Like, yeah, okay, you're building a bit of an atmosphere. I can get behind that, but you don't have to only build. You can build the atmosphere while also potentially incorporating that melody. And now maybe the intro has a bit more meat to it, and we're not just listening to 12 seconds of like a reverse. I mean, it's more than just a reverse, there's like, it almost feels like there's a bit of a chord change with those vocal atmosphere things, but I don't know. I think what I would do is I'd stop working on the sound design and I would figure out, I would just build the song out. Okay. So we went through, we did these drops. Maybe now it's time to go back to like this intro section, but if the melody was in it, then that has more of a life, has more of a half-life to it. It can last longer. We can listen to it longer. And then we do a variation on the drops and stuff. Now all of a sudden you're at 2.5 minutes and you throw an outro, a cool outro, or maybe you double up the length of the drop and then you do an outro. And now maybe we're at, say this is a weird outro. Let's do it this way. There, this looks more like an outro. There. So now we're at 3.5 minutes. This is a viable song, right? I would set aside your sound design tools and start focusing on the structure of the song, the melody, the chord progression, how you're going to make the song feel like a journey from start to finish. Because you don't need to do any more work on the sound design. It's sick. That's what I got. Okay, let's move on. I guess this is the Swiss cheese one. Holy look at how long the title is. There's no way I can't even read that many words. But I think this is a Swiss cheese song. It's a remix of something. Let's have a listen. Yeah, okay, so far, yeah, I think that it's still a very Swiss cheese song, but I think the arrangement works pretty decently in this. It starts off, it's progressing towards something. I think that this is a pretty good example of Swiss cheese, but done more correctly than just kind of like the standard Swiss cheese intro that we usually get. One thing that I will say is that I think that your clap is a little too loud, because if you just soloed your kick and your clap, to me, the clap sounds louder than the kick, and I think you still probably want it to be a bit of a kick, crunchy kick situation. So maybe just solo your kick and clap and play with the balance between them, and maybe send them into a bus and make sure that the clap isn't causing any sort of gain reduction on your kick drum when they both hit together. You could also maybe pre-shift the clap a little bit, and play with where the transients line up. You don't want to probably do it too much, but I think your kick and clap could live in better harmony. The clap naturally pans left. Interesting. I didn't really notice that. Oh, I do notice it now. I really think it's just a matter of the clap is just a little too loud compared to the kick drum. Because I think if you imagine like a hierarchy of sounds and where they should live in the mix, the kick drum should usually be the driving force in this style of music. I think that nothing should cause the kick drum to feel like it's been subdued or gain reduced. And I feel like especially when I started to kind of push like a bit of a master limiter on it just to get the volume up. Yeah, you can see the clap, the kick isn't causing a gain reduction on its own, but the kick and clap are. And that's not necessarily, like against the law, but I noticed it with my ears first, and I'm just kind of confirming or validating it using my eyes and the gain reduction. The next thing is that the vocals. I know the vocals are supposed to be atmospheric and woo-woo la-la in the, Ethereum space. That's a cryptocurrency. I don't know why I said that. But I think they're a little too Ethereum'd out. So I think you should maybe bring them a bit closer to like Bitcoin. Ethereal is definitely what I meant, but I said it wrong and I just ran with it, because that's the best way to not admit that you made a mistake, is to double down or triple down on the mistake that you made. The next problem, and I don't know that it's the problem yet, but I'm going to assume based on the waveform and the way that things have been going, is that to me this song feels like it's always going towards something, but we never get to the something that it's going towards. It feels like it's constantly building us up to something, but never fulfills the something. Let's find out if I'm right. So to me, this kind of sounds like it's trying to be the thing, the part of the song that you were teasing us about, like just wait until you hear this part. But it doesn't, it's just kind of a super saw with the filter wide open. It doesn't really deliver on the promise that you gave us. The vibes and everything leading up to it, you are very good at building that atmosphere and creating a harmonious nice musically solid chord structure. That's all there. But I feel like you still have to take that commitment of the drop where you commit to a sound. And right now it kind of feels like you haven't committed to a sound. You're kind of just, I'm going to open the filter, and that's, you know, that's what you get. And I don't think that that's quite enough to really make us feel fulfilled as listeners. I feel like we're still waiting for the drop at this point. Let's keep going. Yeah, I mean, like, we're 2.5 minutes in and we haven't really gotten something that feels like a destination to me. I still kind of feel like we're just kind of teasing the idea of the song, and you haven't given us the idea of the song. I also don't really think the clap on every quarter note. Putting a clap on every quarter note is a viable thing to do in this style of music, but I almost think that this specific sounding clap doesn't work that well. This almost sounds more like a 5-person clap, whereas those claps that are usually on these tracks on like every quarter note, they're usually more of like an abstract clap, that it doesn't necessarily sound like 3 or 5 people clapping. It sounds more like a big epic like drum machine clap that's hitting on every quarter note. So it's maybe not necessarily the fact that the clap can't work, it's maybe that this clap can't work. Have you listened to the new Slow Palace on Moss? I have not listened to any new music besides the stuff that you guys send in a very, very long time. In fact, this morning I was listening to a Crafty Cuts album from like 2004. So that should answer your question. Anyway, okay, let's keep going. See, like, I still kind of feel like the clap on every that feels like a transitionary thing to do. You would expect to hear a clap on every quarter note, maybe like at the end of a drop or maybe at the start of a drop, and then it goes more to a Boots and Cats kind of thing. And it's not that any of these parts sound bad in isolation, but when you put them together in this arrangement, I just don't feel satisfied like I got like that main like hands up moment. I kind of feel like I'm always in a transitionary stage waiting for the drop to happen. Like what I would start if I were you is maybe keep the first section of the drop with the 4 to the floor clap on every quarter note, but then at some point transition it to a like a Boots and Cats, and you might find that when you do that, all of a sudden the energy changes and it feels more like serious, or more like, yes, this is it, you know? There's numerous things that are kind of playing against you in terms of the drop section. one of them I think is just having that quarter note clap going the whole time gets a little repetitive and doesn't really inspire excitement. Then it sounds like J-Prog. I don't know what is that, Japan Progressive House? I don't know what J-Prog is. I don't know really like musical norms or styles or genres or really any artists or anything. I'm just telling you exactly what happens inside of my brain. So you can always disagree with that. I'm just giving you my perspective. So take it with a grain of salt. But for me, so far, I haven't felt like I needed to get up and throw my chair against the wall and dance around. But like everything again, all the sections in isolation, they all sound pretty good. I mean, I have notes on like the clap being too loud or being the wrong style clap for on the quarter notes. But it's more so what it's missing and not what is there. That's the problem. I think what is missing is the main drop that feels like we have arrived at the main destination of the song. Like maybe closing that filter down and switching to a Boots and Cats style. You know, start with the filter wide open with the big claps on every quarter note, right? Like you have here. Do that for 8 bars or 16 bars or some amount of multiple of 8 bars. And then tighten it down and maybe add in a thicker bass and a Boots and Cats and have the plucks be more plucky and less wide open. But if that goes against whatever J-Prog is, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe if I listened to the best J-Prog song in the world, I would have the same notes. But these are my notes. Me too. I also hope that I return. Here's the thing. I am on the verge of releasing a new product with my company, with my electronics company. And it's taking all of my energy and all of my money. And if I don't make that work, then I can't buy food. So I'm hoping that this year, after I release this product and it moves into manufacturing and I can step away from having to fight fires every single day, all night, because overseas manufacturers operate like 12 hours offset from our time zone. I'm hoping that I can dedicate some time to coming to the studio every week and making music again because I miss it and I enjoy doing it. So hopefully. Like, that sounds dope, dude. Like, that, there's so much of this that sounds so good. It's just missing that, like, girthy, let's fucking go kind of drop sound. No, nobody's ruining anything. I'm glad that you guys feel comfortable enough to chat with me. I enjoy it. Yeah, that's what I think. I almost think that an interesting experiment for you to do would be to take this song and imagine that this was somebody else's song and then remix it as if you were not you or something. Just to I'm not saying that you should stray away from your sound and try to come up with a totally unrelated sound or anything, but I almost wonder what this would sound like if most of it was the same, but the drop sections were just switched up to be a bit more like powerful. I don't know. I don't think that the clap, I don't think it's maybe the best clap, especially for every quarter note. I don't think it's a good clap for a clap, 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 because those claps sound more like where yours is more like you can hear the individual transients of each individual clap. But like normally if you listen to like the what's up, Enzo? If you listen to that style of music that will do a drop with the clap on every quarter note, and pay attention to what the clap sounds like, it usually doesn't have like those intricate clap, 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 clap. You know what I mean? If you slowed it right down and you looked and there's like, 8 or 9 clap transients crammed together, and that's what the clap is. So I think it might work for a Boots and Cats pattern if you turned it down, because I'm pretty sure if you look at these tiny spikes, those are your clap sounds. Although I don't think that's the same clap. Yeah, you can visually see that your clap is by far the loudest thing in the song. So I mean, right off the bat, you should at least turn it down or do some wave shaping clipping to cut off those really loud transient sounds, because they're just too loud. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of random thoughts. I hope that it added value to your life. Let's listen to Twist X. We haven't heard a Twist X song in a very long time. This one, I think he just started today. So let's have a listen. It's called Here to Stay.
I'm here to stay, tell him straight. We keep going to the venue, getting lock off. Eardrums brock up, trust me, you done fucked up. I'm here to stay. Trust me, you done fucked up. Like a doctor with some bad news, tough luck. I'm here to stay, tell him straight, boy, shut up. I'm here to stay, tell him straight. Shut up. I'm here to stay, tell him straight. I'm here to stay, tell him straight. Louder. I'm here to stay, tell him straight. We keep going to the venue, getting lock off. Eardrums brock up, trust me, you done fucked up. I'm here to stay. Trust me, you done fucked up. Like a doctor with some bad news.
Okay, before we get to the second drop, I like what Amp said, because that was going to be kind of my only real feedback on this so far, is that I kind of wish there was more separation between the different sounds that are happening in the drop. And I was trying to figure out how to word that. But I find that there's a lot of really cool sounds, but there's maybe too much overlap on top of them. And that's not just to say that the sound design in the basses and the reeses and the wubs and whatnot, but also in the drums, maybe when it switches, from like one phrase to another phrase, maybe the drums also change like that. Yes, Enzo, just send me a file that I can download so that I don't have to click and click and click and whatever. Like, for example, Yeah. No, I understand that it's new. It sounds really good for you just starting it not long ago. But like, for example, right there, maybe like either getting rid of the drums or getting rid of the top drums or something, because I find that like there's almost there. So in my head, because, well, you sent me a Snapchat of the project, so I can picture the blocks in the FL project and whatnot, right? But in my head, the blocks aren't defined enough or something. Fuck, I wish I had a better way of describing this. But I think you know what I mean. Like when you do the Reese thing, there's too much similar elements from before the Reese thing bleeding over into the Reese thing, which makes it kind of not have its own identity for that one moment, even though it might be like, you know, a whole note or like, you know, a bar of audio. But that one bar of audio, when you go, maybe the top drums change to something different while it happens, and then it goes back to the other top drums, and that gives that one moment its own kind of identity. That's kind of what I think that's the best way I can describe it. But now let's listen to the second half.
I'm here to stay, tell them straight. We keep going to the venue, getting lock off. Eardrums broke up, trust me, you done fucked up. I'm here to stay. Trust me, you done fucked up. Like a doctor with some bad news, tough luck. I'm here to stay, tell them straight. Boy, shut up, fucked up. I'm here to stay, tell them straight. Shut up. I'm here to stay, tell them straight. Shut up.
Even like right here. Rap. That's kind of like a phrase, but the drums don't really change a whole lot from the section before it, so it kind of dilutes the rap, you know? I totally get that this is the things that I'm telling you, we make music very similarly, so I know that the things that I'm telling you, you're probably going to end up doing whether I say it or not. So I mean, it kind of goes without saying. I wonder too when it goes. You have the kind of the quarter note hi-hat, open hi-hat. Psh, 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 psh. Do you also have 8th and 16th note? Maybe you don't. Maybe it is simplified. I was going to say maybe during those sections it should go to just quarter note. Is that quarter note? Yes. It should just go to quarter note, open hi-hat, and get rid of the complexity of the drums so that when you come out of that section and you go back into the chicka 16th note stuff, it's more of a contrast. The explosion. The other thing that I'm thinking. So you have this really tony kind of Slipknot sounding snare, but I feel like the pling, like the metallic part of it, the tail, the ringing of it is a bit subdued in the mix, especially towards the end of the song. I almost feel like it's a different snare. Maybe not. I don't know. But I really like, I think the snare, maybe you should sidechain a bit deeper to the snare drum, and you should have that like, ringing, metallic, dissonant Slipknot snare sound more prominent in the mix. It kind of reminds me of some of the stuff that Tesseract sent in. So I don't know. I think it's sick. It's a really cool track so far, and of course it's messy and it's just kind of thrown together because I don't remember how. I think you have a couple hours into it, so I think for a couple of hours it sounded pretty damn good. Make sure that snare fucking comes through because it. I feel like it's like you changed it. Because I can really hear the ting, like the metallic ching of it, but over here. Shut up. It's still there. I just think it's too subdued because that's such a cool snare sound, like that ting, that Slipknot snare sound should come through. At any rate, I think it's a 6-star. The vocals sound dope. They're pretty bad. They're pretty, is that what British people would say? Bad? Hard? I don't know. They sound good. It sounds good. Thanks for sending. All right. This one is called The Fox on Stilts. Melody 1.2. Wow, we're versioning the melodies now. Okay, so right off the top, I like how wonky the melody is, but I feel like you've kind of got it in potentially the no man's land of wonkiness, where it kind of sounds like it's not trying to be wonky, but it is wonky. So what I would maybe do, I would maybe lo-fi it out a bit more, like push it like you know, kind of like this. If I put an EQ on the master, I don't know, maybe like, and I'm not saying to do this on the master, but just that synth. Oh, helps if I enable the thing that I'm doing. The hell did I put? Oh, there it is. You know what I mean? Because then it sounds more intentionally detuned and wonky and kind of bad sounding in a way, but like on purpose. You could also potentially do, like, you could do that, but you could also put like a bit of a, I don't know, maybe a delay, or sorry, that's distortion. Wow, I'm rusty. Echo boy, where are you? There you are. And then when you hit, and you don't have to do it to this extent. I'm just trying to like make a point. But what you could do is you could do that, and that really drives home the idea of like, hey, this is like an old dusty synth from my childhood, and it, you know, it's nostalgic and kind of chiptune-y and whatnot. And then when it comes time to like hit us with the higher quality sounds, then you just automate off the encrappening effects. Not sure if anybody's ever used that word before, but there you go. So kind of like this. And I would maybe even cut out this. I don't know if we even really need this section. You know, maybe it can just go right to this. This almost sounds like Anamanaguchi. I don't know how to say their name, but if you like this music, you probably know what I'm trying to say. But now let's see what it sounds like if it goes right to that. The timing might be a bit off. So then the next thing is the snare drum. I feel like the snare drum I don't mind the character of it as a layer, but I don't think that the snare drum is necessarily doing snare drum things very well. It's too muted. It doesn't have any top end to it, right? So I don't know. This is definitely not the right snare, but we're just going to run with it. Definitely not the right snare. Let's try, it needs, like, I don't want to necessarily make it sound like a sampled snare. I think sticking with like somewhat of an acoustic snare is probably the move for this. Let's try this maybe. Yeah, see, that just adds like a little bit of airiness and some brightness and presence to the snare. Those all sound like buzzwords. Now, when we get to hear this new synth that comes in, the first note it plays is questionable. Melodically, there's just a lot of stuff happening that seems kind of unaware of the other melody. Like, it sounds like you have two main melodies and an arpeggio, and they're all kind of unaware of each other. Okay, so here's I think it's called Endless. This is your reference song. See what I mean? It's like chip tuned, it's kind of detuned, it's kind of lo-fi, but it also has acoustic drums and some guitar and shit. This, to me, is the perfect reference track for you to work on this. It is keygen. It is very keygen. You're right. But I think if you listen to most like epic melody-based kind of chip tune music, that is keygen music. Anyway, so I guess 3 notes so far. Not that I would either. Although I think the last time I heard keygen music, I was probably 22 years old. So it was a long time ago. So a few notes so far. I like the idea of keeping the intro really lo-fi, but pushing it even more so into the lo-fi kind of crappy sounding. So that when you come out of it, keygen is, if you were to acquire software in a less than favorable way, and you perhaps required a license key to operate said software, and you did not feel like paying for the key to operate said software, then you would perhaps require a generator of sorts to generate the key. And for whatever reason, all of these keygen software always had like the best chiptune music while it was doing its illegal activities. Like you would open up the software to generate a license key, and it would be you're just like, holy fuck, this, I don't even want the software anymore. I just want this song, you know, like it. I don't know what it is about key gen, but it's almost a genre of music. It's like a subgenre of chiptune is like key gen, and I would almost argue that like good chiptune music is key gen music, and key gen music is good chiptune music. But anyway, that's besides the point. So lean into the lo-fi crappy sound more, brighter snare, and then this second melody that comes in, I just think it's doing nothing but cluttering my ears when I'm trying to understand what the melody is. I also think that your drum beat is too sparse. It's like, it sounds like the drummer is drunk or on heroin and doesn't really want to be there. So I think that like even just having a like a steady eighth note. Wow, I had to count that one out. Like a steady eighth note kind of groove going would probably go a long ways for picking up the pace. See, I don't mind that other melody when it comes in on its own. I think it's just when you're layering it on top of the other melody, it gets confusing. Was crazy. I really appreciated that the solo. That was wild. My next and maybe final note on this is that the bass region of it is just kind of a bit of a mess. Like, I feel like your kick drum maybe is ringing out longer than it should, and there's maybe overlap of instruments down there, but I'm not hearing like a nice, solid foundation of bottom end. So maybe sub-bass separation could help, and maybe investigate your kick drum. To me, your kick drum might just be like it might be one of those kick drums where it should just be like a, you know, instead of a, because that extra is just kind of, especially because you're hitting it numerous times close together. So you're just injecting this kind of chaos into the bottom end of the track over and over again. Like it's too rumbly. So I'm thinking it's probably a kick drum thing. Here's another reference track for you. Anyway, okay. I think melody is great. I think the melody is sick. I love the solo in the middle of it. I think your biggest things are the drums could be better, and the bottom end could be better, and then the 2 notes or 3 or whatever, however many notes. I don't know. All the things that I said, those are the things that I think. Take it with a grain of salt, and hopefully it helps. Okay, let's check out a Sparky track. I wonder if Rayham's here. I wonder if Sparky knows that Rayham is his arch nemesis. I don't even think that he does. I think that Rayham is Sparky's arch nemesis, but only Rayham knows that. So, anyway, here's a song that he's working on called Top of the World. Okay, so my first thoughts are that it's groovy and funky as hell, but it feels a bit subdued off the top. I feel like it needs to be more bombastic or more like in my face, especially because the only real difference that I'm hearing between this and when the vocals come in is that the guitar goes away. I would probably, well, I'd do 2 things. I'd make the start of it more, just more, like more stuff, more brightness, more energy. And then when it gets to the point where she starts singing, I'd take out a lot, I'd maybe even just drop it out to like if you have chords in there. I wonder what, and maybe it would lose too much pace, or maybe it would drop too much energy. But what would it be like if you had the kick drum and a cymbal, and then the drums went away completely, and we have like da, and then she's singing over these sustained kind of synth chords, and then you can bring in the funk, and you can bring in the energy and the rhythm and stuff. You can trickle that in as needed. But I think that it would be pretty cool if it's just like it drops out and it's chords and her singing, and then you bring in like a shaker halfway through or something, and maybe the bass line and the kick drum, and you start building it up from there. Because to me it seems like this should be a bigger moment than it is. It's kind of like, oh, she's singing now, you know, instead of like, damn, like she's singing now. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, like right there, maybe bring the drums in. When I'm not with you. With a kakadoo, you know, the kakadoo fill. When I'm not with you, trouble's all I find. Chakras on the line, the minute we collide. Electricity's brought me back to life. And all this energy's got me feeling so right. As long as I'm with you, I feel like it's heaven. As long as I'm with you, I'm on top of the world. As long as I'm with you, I feel like it's heaven. As long as I'm with you, I'm on top of the world. On top of the world. I'm in heaven, on top of. Yeah, so far everything kind of all the sections that we've heard so far feel like they're at the same energy level. I don't really feel like we're ebbing and flowing. I feel like you're adding the guitar and subtracting the guitar. And I feel like you're missing out on potentially taking us on a more interesting journey if you pulled the drums out. Because I feel like the 16th note, like the disco kind of drum beat that's going, it's just kind of going. And then when it's there the whole time, it feels inconsequential. Is that the word? It just kind of feels like it's there and you take it for granted. But if you pulled it out, when you brought it back in, we're like, oh shit, here we go. You know, we never really get the chance to be like, oh shit, here we go. Like, and again, coming off the chorus, there's not, I mean, there is a difference. It does take it down a notch after the chorus, but it kind of takes it down like a quarter of a notch. So maybe it would be cool if it maybe just goes to like kick drum, take the top drums and the snare drum out, and maybe it's just like it's driving the kick drum with the bass line and the vocals. So to me, I feel like the delete key or the, you know, selecting things and pulling things out is really probably going to be your best tool to make this a more compelling story.
Communicate with telepathy. You don't have to say a thing. I know what you want. Don't complicate it, just let it be. It will set you free. The heart wants what it wants. When I'm not with you, trouble's all I find. Chakras on the line, the minute we collide. Electricity's brought me back to life. And all this energy's got me feeling so right. As long as I'm with you, I feel like it's heaven. As long as I'm with you, I'm on top of the world.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's missing maybe one or two bright 80s synth elements. Maybe an arpeggio, or maybe on the you know, you push it an eighth note before each chord change, whatever that's, down. I don't know how to explain that, but it just, to me, it feels too level. It feels like, here we go. This is what the energy level feels like. You know, and I think what you should maybe do is start off high, then, like I said, drop it way down, introduce the vocals and the chords, build it up, and then maybe here we get kind of like the drums and stuff, and then boom, we get the chorus, and then boom, it drops back down. Maybe it doesn't drop down quite as low as this point. Maybe we keep the kick drum and the bass line going, so that once you've established kind of a bit of a pace, you don't break it too soon. And then, you know, you start getting us excited. Where's my mouse? There we go. You start getting us excited, boom, and then boom, we get the chorus again. I think that's the biggest issue I'm having, because like mix-wise and everything, it sounds super clean, sounds great, it's funky. All of these individual sections, they all sound great in isolation, but when you put them next to each other, there's no real anticipation, there's no contrast of energies. You can't just add or subtract a guitar and that does it. You know, I think that you got to add and subtract more stuff. But in terms of production quality and mix and master, it sounds fucking dope. I just think you got to add a couple elements and then go through and subtract a lot of stuff from different sections to give each section a bit more of its own identity and its own unique energy level.
I'm on top of the world, on top of the world. I'm in heaven, on top of the world. With you, on top of the world. I'm in heaven, on top of the world. With you.
I also wonder, what would it be like if maybe during the chorus or something, instead of having a really complicated, complex bass pattern, what if it's more of just like birday, 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 or something? That, I guess what I'm looking for is more variation. I think that's all of my notes so far could just be summed up as add more variation. And I think I'm just being pedantic about it. I do like the talk box solo, though. I'm always a fan of that. But yeah, overall, I mean, I really don't have any mix or production notes. It's more so just arrangement and maybe your the level of variation throughout the track. But cool, thanks for sending. All right, let's check out the next one called Post-Human Get Back Remix Comp 9. So far, this is what I think about this. I think that for all the producers listening, they're probably like, wow, that's some crazy sound design and production. And it is. It's some crazy sound design and production. But I think it's kind of a bit too production-y. I'm not necessarily detecting a phrase per se. I'm detecting a lot of cool sounds, but they're almost used a bit too chaotically for me to pick up on like I think the best thing you could do with these sounds is arrange them in a way that I could mouth them back to you. So, for example, what's a song that would have like a crazy sound design? I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I think you've got a lot of great tools at your disposal here in terms of wubs and yoinks and all the crazy sounds that you've made. But I think that you need to deploy them in a way that tells a story or creates phrases or sentences that are a bit more, almost a bit more repetitive or something, or like structured. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of just like a lot of really cool sounds kind of somewhat randomly thrown together. At least that's what it sounds like to me. So I'd probably take all the sounds you have and try to arrange them, try to figure out patterns that you can repeat. And then, of course, you can vary them and change the patterns and create calls and responses and stuff. But maybe maybe there's like a staple that you always go back to at the start of each phrase. It goes, bwop, 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 and then it does something. And then it goes back to bwop, 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 and then it does something. And then it goes bwop, 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 and then that's the variation. And then it does something, and it goes back to bwop, 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 bwop. So then you've created a phrase that people can get stuck in their head, as opposed to just kind of like getting their brain slapped from all directions many times per second. Let's keep going. I will say that the second drop has a bit more structure to it because it has that color kind of thing. It does like, you know, a section of color stab things, and then it does a section of kind of neuro distorted wub sounds, and then it goes back to the color, you know, wubs things, and then I think that you're on the right track with the second one. I think it's maybe a bit too dissonant or inharmonic. Like maybe you should try to mix in some tonality a little bit more instead of it just kind of being like metallic dissonant sound. But let's keep going. I'm going to guess that this is 128. No, faster? Oh, shit, tits. Hold on. Oh, titty butt. Okay, that's certainly a kick drum. And then maybe it was 128. Are people still making 128? Or is that a thing of the past? 126. Okay, maybe it's 126. It isn't 126. I don't know what it is. I must be way off. I live by 128. The Magic. Remember that like Zac Efron movie? It is 128. Okay. I must have just not had it lined up properly. Wait, is this even your song? Because it's not 128. The intro isn't on beat. Yeah, but then what about this? No, but Cherbourg. I don't know how to say that when there's two letters like that close together. It looks like 125. What the f? Is this some sort of prime number? What the f? Why can't I figure out the tempo of this? This is ridiculous. Just remember your basic training, Nick. $126. Stop playing with my emotions. It's 126. Okay, 126. Thank you. I think. Unless you're lying to me. No, it looks like you are. Okay. Okay. Or it looks like you aren't lying. This is excellent news. I almost forget. I think I forget what I was going to do. I think I was going to chop something up. Okay, let's grab a couple sections. I'm just going to fuck around for a second. I don't know. I don't know what I was trying to do anymore. I think I don't think I'm going to be able to make anything by chopping your track up. I think maybe just keep in mind what I'm saying. And I like the chaos of it, but you have to balance chaos with memorability, or is that the word? Remembrance, rememberability. Yeah. You have to kind of, there's like structured chaos where you almost, like the way I usually look at it, or used to when I made music, when I made like complex music, is I kind of gave myself little bins. Like, okay, the start of every 16 bars is going to go dun, dun, and then I'm going to have a section of maybe 4 quarter notes where I can do something crazy, but at the end of that quarter note, it's got to go ya, 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 ya. And then that way I can still put some chaos in there, but it's a bit more structured. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like the production is crazy, but I think it's just a little too crazy. I think that's how I could sum up all of my thoughts up. Like knowing when to hold back on the chaos and when to give us the chaos, and potentially give yourself, like I said, little bins of time frames like this. I think I could probably do it this way. Let's do it with patterns, right? So maybe this is what the phrase might look like. So pattern 18 is always the same. So we always have to start the same, except maybe this time this is like, say this is pattern 19, which it's a very slight variation on pattern 18 just to give it a bit of variance. But for all practical reasons, it does the same thing, right? And then maybe here and here, maybe these are, let's do it this way. There we go. And then maybe at the end of every bar is like something memorable. And then maybe here you get something that's just absolute chaos. And you're like, I can do whatever I want from here to here. It can be crazy. It can be wild. It can make no sense, but that's okay. That's what that section is meant for, right? And then maybe every other time you do the same thing. And then maybe in between that, you do a small variation on that wacky, crazy, woo-woo, wild thing. And that happens. So you still have little pockets of chaos and craziness, but it's in a structured way that creates a phrase. And then as a listener, we know that even though we're going absolutely buck wild here, we're going to land on something that we know what it's going to do. It's going to go dan 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 or bwab bwab or whatever, wub, yoink. I think that just makes it a little bit more memorable, but you can still have these insane sound design things mixed in there. So that's what I would probably do. I'd just pull back the lever on the chaos and make it sound a little more strategic, maybe. Or maybe don't. What the fuck do I know? Inspirations are also super chaotic. Yeah. Well, then keep doing it. I mean, it sounds dope. To me, it's not as memorable because I'm just like, this is wild. I don't know what's going to happen next. And I couldn't repeat back to you what just happened, except maybe some of the, like the, that part was cool, but that's kind of the only part that I could say back to you. So if you love the chaos and you want it to just be chaos all the time, you go, girl. It's your music, but that's what I think. Okay, let's move on. Nate flew running out demo mastered. All right.
What is wrong with me? The time is running out. My head is full of doubt. In your place I see the memory of your face, a dream I can't erase. I'm running out of hope for the things I wanna do. All I want is to kiss you, make you feel alive.
So what's up with the 192 line? What's going on there? I think the vocals sound cool. I think they're mixed a little insecurely, like they're kind of buried in the mix, but I really like the melody that they're singing. I would probably have them a bit more present in the mix.
I cannot find a way to make the feelings fade. You're everything I strive to be.
I will say though, and also, regarding the last track, I'm not saying that there was no repeatability or that it was just pure chaos, but I think the needle was a little too far towards chaos and not towards structure. It wasn't a binary thing. It was a somewhat analog note. Okay, so for this, I feel like we missed out on a whole part. Like I kind of feel like we were building towards something, but the thing didn't happen, and now we're back. We're to the part that comes after the thing. And when I say thing, I mean the chorus.
I cannot find a way to make the feelings fade. You're everything I strive to be, and I cannot bear to lose what I have when I'm with you. I'm running out of hope.
I will say that the vocals, I think, could use more compression because there's some phrases or some lines that really poke through the mix and some that don't.
Make you feel
What's up, Ashy? I was thinking about doing a gaming night soon. I miss it too. I miss playing video games with you idiots because I'm also an idiot. So when a bunch of idiots get together and play dumb games, it's fun for us.
It's so hard to find my way. My heart just wants to grow. I'm running out of hope for the things I wanna do. And all I want is to kiss you, make you feel loved. I'm running out of time. Cannot bear to hold. All I want is to kiss you, make you feel alright. Make you feel alright.
So structure, like the structure of the track, I don't mind, except this one section. It just
Make you feel alright. Make you feel alright.
maybe it's okay. I don't know. After hearing the whole song, maybe the structure isn't. Maybe that doesn't need to have like a big anthemic chorus. Although I will say that if it did have a big anthemic chorus at some point, it probably would be a pretty epic moment. You know, if it finally, like, if you picked one of the lines that you really liked, and then it's supposed to feel like it's long, you drop back down and yeah, I get that. I see where you're coming from, but at the same time, yeah, I mean, like it's fine. It's not objectively a bad thing to do, to structure it this way. But at the same time, I feel like I've said at the same time like 5 times in the past 30 seconds. If there was like a big epic, you kind of have a bit of an epic climax here. I don't know. The jury's out on it. I think that if there was if you picked one line that you thought really embodied the idea of the track and you like hit us with that line over and over again for a section while having like the music really like hitting a crescendo, if you will, I think that would be pretty effective. The other thing is I understand that there's some stylistic choice on the processing and the treatment of the vocals, but I feel like at the very least, they should be more compressed, like Kaidia said, so that you can understand them more and that they can be easier to fit. Because remember, if you compress the dynamic range of a vocal, it's no longer as much of a moving target in terms of where to place it in the mix. So I think compression is definitely going to help. But also, part of me wonders if the effects on the vocals are somewhat put on there out of insecurity or out of wanting, and I speak from experience and not to try and shame you or anything like that. I think that you have your voice sounds good. I mean, it's hard to kind of tell because it's so affected, but the melodies and everything are solid, and the lyrics sound good to me too. The ones that I couldn't understand all of them, but the ones that I could definitely do. They sound good. I wonder, maybe have a pass at it, try to perform it as best as you possibly can, maybe do like 10 takes and comp together the best take and just see what it sounds like. If there's no effects on the vocals, like in terms of like spectral, all the formant shifting and all that stuff, you don't have to render it out or show it to anybody, but just maybe try and see. And then maybe it's not, maybe it sounds pretty good, and maybe you could layer that with what you have here and you can combine the both and still have a bit more of an authentic, I don't want to say dry, but you know, like more raw, just your voice. And, or you could switch back and forth. You can use some affected stuff for some things. I don't know. I would at least give it a shot. Maybe you already have. But that would be my note on this, is to potentially try to perform it almost as if it was you and an acoustic guitar or you and a piano. And then the production is there to lift that up instead of the production kind of carrying it as opposed to lifting it up. I don't know if that makes sense. It doesn't even really make sense to me. So maybe don't fucking listen to anything I say. Yeah, I don't know. I think the track is good. I think it feels real to me, and I believe the things you are saying. So that's the important thing. But I just wish I could understand more of the things that you are saying, so that I could believe those words as well. I will say that on the first listen through, when it got to this section, I kind of felt a little let down, if you will. I wonder, I'm just going to try this. I don't think it's going to work, but what if we got rid of this little pause here and see what that sounds like? Whoop. Make you feel alone. I cannot find a way to make the feelings fade. I will say that the transition from the high octave to low octave, it did kind of stick out to me a little bit. It felt a little awkward going from the almost falsetto voice to like the full body voice. I'd maybe stay in the falsetto. I cannot find a way to make the feelings fade. Because it's a bit jolting when you go from the falsetto, and I'm assuming that you sung both of them low and you just pitch shifted or format shifted or melodyne or something, one of the lines up, and then when it went down, that's actually how you sung it. But I prefer the falsetto voice to the lower voice, and the switch between the two, perhaps the compression could save that a little bit, because the low voice also kind of like pokes through the mix more than the falsetto voice. What's up, Will? Yeah, I know I look very young, don't I? All I have to do is shave my face and I drop like 25 years and I look like I'm in my low 20s. Anyway, I don't know. I think you did a good job at this, dude. I know you didn't answer my question about the 192 line. That line that's there. But if you want to keep your secrets, that's fine. But just know. The 192 line, it's this hard line that occurs when you use an MP3 in a mix. See how that goes all the way up? The head is full of cloud. But you see how there's a line right there? It's a 192 kilobit per second line. I call it the 192 line. But you don't have to explain yourself to me. You should be aware that that's in your track, that it appears as though might be 192 without me knowing. There we go. Nick is an expert with things that go all the way up. That is such a reach. That's barely a viable joke. Anyway, okay. That's probably what it is. If that's a guitar loop or something, then if you got it off of something that isn't full quality, then that explains it. And it's not like anybody would hear that and be like, oh my God, 192. But if they looked on it in a spectrogram, they would see the 192, and you're just not getting the full quality guitar sound. So be aware and act appropriately. I don't know what the fuck that means. Okay, let's listen to the next one. Lacertus. Lacertus menu theme. That was weird. Okay, wait, I gotta... This is so appropriate. Okay, ready? Shut up, Will. You just want to play it so you can beat me again. The only thing it needs, and I should clarify, I'm not making fun of you. I think this is perfect for this, and I think this is a menu theme for a game, so it's probably pretty perfect for that too. But wow, all it really needs is a hi-yo yo yo, whoa-la-la. Yeah, I think this is really good. I think what I would say is, hold on. Sorry, I've been doing something on my other screen right now. Let's see. I don't. Why does it have the background music in it? I wanted to tune it so it would fit in key. Hold on, I gotta find this. So my only real note so far is that when you get to this section, you can really feel the compression in the master. Yeah, that's really my only, I think probably it's good to go besides the compression when the drums come in. Just, you can really hear it pumping. You can hear it working, you know? I'm going to stop trying to convert Wololo to MP3 because I'm going to get a virus here. Oh, this might have it. Hold on. Hell yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. And then all we need is hi-yo yo yo. Seriously, no hi-yo yo yo? Oh well, we'll work with this. So now we're gonna send this to Melodyne. Melodyne. This is a bit of a side quest. Yes, but in all seriousness, my only note is the compression issue. Everything else sounds really good. All right, now what key are we in? Wait, no way it's in the right key already. Oh. Yeah, there we go. And then we'll grab that out of Melodyne. Hitting that major key on it too, which is important. DJ Khaled reference, I guess. All right, and now we got the Wololo. Oh, except this has to go. Let's make. I think this has to go up 2 semitones. cooking. Your wish is my command. Oh, yo, yo, yo. I don't mean to finish your song for you, but dun 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 dun. Oh my god, I hate the delay. Do it the old-fashioned way. There's no way it's that fast. Is it 120? Oh man, you don't see much being made at 120 anymore. That used to be the best tempo. Then it became 128. Wow. Anyway, I kid. It's good. Fix the compression in the drums and you're golden. And also probably fix the exit. The exit? The exit of the song. That's a new way of saying it. Cool. Sorry to go off on such a tangent there with your track, but I like it, honestly. Okay, Ice Kayab Apocalypse. Okay, I like the timing signature. That's weird. We got the 192 line going on. But I like the timing signature. I think the snare drum's a bit sharp compared to everything else. Yeah, the timing signature is it's hard to follow. That's a tough one because I do like the wackiness of it, but it is a bit hard to follow. I think the more objective thing that's not working is the snare drum in this section. I don't know how to fix it though. It almost feels like the snare drum is not cutting through the mix enough to it's almost like we're mostly hearing the tiniest microscopic transient and then like a tail, but there's no real meat to the snare drum. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, Enzo. The timing. So yeah, like once you figure it out, you're almost rewarded for figuring. You're like, wow, I did that. I figured out the timing signature, and then you get some burst of dopamine because you've like accomplished something. Kind of sounds like I'm getting a phone call on my car phone. I don't even have to listen to this part to know I'm not going to like it because of how just this. So, well, at least you admitted it, Nate. At least you know. I'm glad to at least point it out to you that there are consequences to your actions. This song is a thinker. You know, this is the type of song that you sit down with a calculator and an Excel sheet and you go to work. And if you're lucky, you'll get a graph that will mean something to you and your life will be better because of it. I think objectively, your snare drum needs to change. I really like the 4 to the floor section, by the way. I like when it goes and I can actually like minimize my Excel sheet for a second and just kind of, rock out. But even there, the snare drum, it sounds more like a hint of snare drum or like the suggestion of a snare drum is present. The snare drum doesn't cut through the mix very well. That I like the sound of it, but the way that it cuts through the mix, it just blends in with like the distortion of the synths and stuff. So I think you got to figure out a way to get your snare drum cutting through the mix more. That will maybe help with the weird timing signature stuff too, because the snare drum is kind of it's a landmark that we listen for and we determine kind of the location of the phrase that we're in based on the snare drum hits. And if that snare drum hit was a bit more in my face and cutting through the mix, I might have more meaningful data entry into my Excel spreadsheet when I'm trying to work out the beats and stuff. So I would probably try to at least get your snare drum cutting through the mix. I'm not really a big fan of these moments in most songs, and I'm not really a big fan of this moment in this song, but that's me. And if this is clearly not a normal song, it's, you know, it's a bit of a concept piece. It's a very experimental, if you will. So if you love the way that it trails off and stuff, then, you know, go for it. I probably, when I get to this section, I would probably have assumed that the song had ended and maybe I would just skip to the next song. So that's a consideration. But if you're doing it purely for the art and you don't care if people skip and you don't care if people think that it's the end of the song and maybe you want people to think that it's the end of the song, the mission accomplished. At least fix the snare drum, make it cut through better. Okay. Oops. Dubstep need feedback. Volume 2 XX sequel. Okay. It's a very interesting waveform. It's no way. There's no way that this was not done intentionally. That is not at all what I thought that was going to sound like. Anyway, okay. Let's listen to it. Snare, 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 snare. I'm pretty sure that's me saying snare. 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 You're not streaming. I really have to pee, so I'm going to I'm going to continue listening to this and enjoying it while I urinate right over there in the corner of my room in the piss corner. Be right back. Snare, 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 snare. Snare, okay, but like, where was it? There's actually like a cool melody there. It's almost like you accidentally put like a half decent section in the middle of this. Snare. Wow. I'm now just realizing that there's more. Yeah. Well, that was quite a journey. And I do appreciate your time and effort put into this abomination. Please print. Okay, this is what I want you to do. Snare. I want you to convert the PCM bit stream into a hexadecimal file, print it out, and then light it on fire. Thank you. It was fun though. I enjoyed listening to it. There was actually a couple like genuinely good spots in there somehow, but I guess, you know, you're good at making music. That was just a joke.
Feels like forever we could.
All right, this one's Dark Forge, Arc Raiders, and Team Up remix. Okay.
Feels like forever we could spend our nights on the surface. When we still thought we had a chance against the machines.
Kick, hat, snare. So I really like this. I think the snare drum could be different. I feel like the snare drum is too... Okay, this is the best way I think I can describe my thoughts. I think the snare drum is too... this instead of this. I think the snare, it's too long in the body. Like, sounds like, oh, wait, I'm just realizing you can't, there we go. Yeah. Nick's open. Yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah, the snare kind of feels too like, I don't know, it feels too much like this. And not enough like this. It's too like psh, psh, instead of like boom, boom. Like it's not tight enough. Maybe I think there's a sample. It's like it's a burst of white noise as opposed to a snappy little like snare drum. And it doesn't need to be like a super tight like neurofunk like thunk like that, but I just think shortening it a little bit might be I don't know, try it. Maybe it's best the way it is, but at least try shortening the snare a little bit. I think that synth that you're playing like the melody on is really pushed too far back in the mix. I kind of noticed it here. Well, that's a different synth, but that synth, it needs to come up in the mix a lot, and so does this. By the way, hello, cat. What would it sound like if the hi-hats in certain sections there went with the triplets? I think it's sick. I really like a lot of these parts. I think tightening the snare up a little bit and making it a bit more snappier, I think is going to contrast, because you kind of have like a big wall of sound, like big wide open sounds, and I think the snare also kind of being big and wide open and long, it kind of blends in a little bit too much. Whereas if you kind of punctuated it, or you what's the word I'm looking for? You chopped it, I don't know, there's a word. I don't know what the word is. But anyway, I think if the snare was a bit more snappy and punchy, it would break up that big wall of sound a bit more, and work to your favor. Besides that, turn up a lot of those melody sounds, especially the wee-oo. It's very soft. It feels like it doesn't want to get in anybody's way. You know, it doesn't want to inconvenience anybody with its presence. And I don't think that that's the way it should feel. I think it should be bombastic, Mr. Bombastic. But besides that, it's dope. Is this what the Arc Raiders theme sounds like? Because I've never played it, so I don't really know. But at any rate, it was an enjoyable listen. And those are my notes. All right, speaking of wall of sounds, we got Cloudy Parallels and Avila. I don't know how to say that. Bound to Break 2. There's a click right at the start. Sure, Kat. Just shoot me a DM and I'll download it.
Tomorrow, but we seen yesterday. So if there's really nothing left, why do we keep on fighting? We know
I wonder.
We don't know tomorrow, but
I'm not sure. I mean, unless you're going to embellish the intro a little, I don't think the piano sound is good enough to stand on its own as like a little intro bit. I don't know. It honestly didn't bother me until the vocals came in, and the piano, it's not, I don't know. I don't love the piano sound.
We don't know tomorrow, but we seen yesterday. So if there's really nothing left, Why do we keep on fighting? We know we'll never change, but we wake up and forget. We've been through all of this before 100 times. Yeah, you and I, we always come right back for more.
I think what it is that the piano sound just sounds a little too like, I'm a piano. It's just like a basic piano sound, and maybe a layer. Like, I know that there's probably some layers and stuff, but to me, it sounds like she's singing over top of a piano, but the piano is kind of like a, you know, like an electric piano that you would gig with from like the early 2000s. Like, it just sounds kind of like, yes, it's a piano, but it doesn't really have much character to it.
More, although we try. What is there left to say? What is there left to say? I know we'll never be the same. How do we walk away when we can't choose to stay? We know these hearts are bound to break. I know it's never easy, say it to your face. So we go around in circles. If we keep running wild, we're going nowhere fast. Love like this ain't meant to last. No, we've been through all of this before 100 times. Yeah, you and I, we always come right back for more. Although we try.
Oh, I'd also like to say that the vocals feel like they're on top of the mix. They're too loud and almost too full bodied, like the fundamental of her voice. It might mostly just be a volume thing, but I feel as though it's kind of has like a karaoke feel to it, where the music sounds mixed together well, but then the vocals are just kind of like on top of it. So I think maybe bringing the vocals down and pushing everything up a little bit, and it might not need much, maybe 3 decibels or something like that to bring the vocals down, to make them feel like it's almost like the music is the ocean. And you almost want the vocals to feel like she's swimming in the ocean and her head is above the water. So she is a bit above the music, but right now it kind of feels like she's like hovering mysteriously above the water altogether. Like she's like like the water's here and she's like doing a weird hover thing. That's, to me, that's how I would explain it. A boat. Yeah. Like I think just bring the vocals down a little bit. And in terms of like musically, it sounds good. I like all the stuff that's happening, but the piano to me just doesn't have enough character. It just sounds a bit generic, and where you're kind of leaning on it in the first bit, once you start bringing more elements in on top of it, it doesn't bother me as much because it becomes kind of like just a layer. But at the start of the song, she's basically singing on top of the piano with maybe like a pad or something to embellish it a bit. And that's where it kind of sticks out to me as not the most inspired sound in the world. It just kind of sounds like a piano, I guess.
No, we've been through, come right back for more. Although we try. What is there left to say? What is there left to say? I know we'll never be the same. How do we walk away when we can't choose to stay? We know these hearts are bound to break. Break, bound to break, bound to break, bound to break. These hearts are bound to break. Break, bound to break, bound to break. We've been through all of this before 100 times. Yeah, you and I, we always come right back for more. Although we try.
So I'm thinking somewhere around this frequency range, maybe dip out of her vocals a bit, because it does feel like a bit of a proximity effect or something. Like it's quite loud in that frequency range. I realized that I went back too far here. So obviously I'm pulling a lot out of the whole track, but you can kind of, if I go back and forth between having this frequency represented as you mixed it, or pulling 10 decibels out.
These hearts are bound to break, bound to break.
I think it's going to be a combination of dipping a bit of that frequency out of her voice. Not that to that extent. I was just trying to show my point. But if you dip that frequency a bit and then bring her vocals down maybe 3 decibels or so, I feel like she's going to sound more like she's in the mix as opposed to on top of the mix.
Break, bound to break. We've been through all of this before 100 times. Yeah, you and I, we always come right back for more. Although we try. What is there left to say? What is there left to say? I know we'll never be the same. How do we walk away when we can't choose to stay? We know these hearts are bound to break, bound to break, bound to break, these hearts are bound to break, bound to break, bound to break, bound to break.
Musically, it's good. I think Bound to Bust a Move. Yeah, I would maybe try just turning her vocals down to begin with. I also think that there's like a stereoizing or a chorus effect or phaser or flange or something on her vocal that might be emphasizing that lower frequency range that I was talking about. But to me, the biggest, the two takeaways on my end are the piano sounding somewhat generic and the vocals just not fitting in the mix. So I don't know. Give it a shot. Turn the vocals down. Maybe dip some of that frequency out. Don't go too crazy with it because I don't think you need to thin her out a lot. Turning her voice down might be enough. So start there and see if you like it better. I think that I think that's the biggest thing. The vocals they're just too loud. Okay, let's check out Kadia. Let's see if she I'm not going to actually continue that sentence. Let's see if she fixed the thing that I said about the milkiness of the vocals.
Lying in an open field, waiting for the world to exhale, and the sky is blue and purple. Standing on a lonely beach, watching as the tide rolls in, and the air is warm and sultry. Walking through a quiet wood, sunrise filters through the trees, waiting for the world, waiting for the world, waiting for the world to exhale. You've been living in your head, always trying to be your
It's sounding a lot better. I really like this song. It's very harmonically pleasing. I will say I like, okay, so I like the inhale before you start singing the main vocal. I think that accomplished. I think I suggested maybe doing that reverse reverb thing into it, but I think that accomplishes the same thing and a lot more naturally. I think the main vocal should come up a bit, and it almost feels a little too thinned out. Lying in an open field. I don't know, like, I'm not sure what your EQ looks like if you're doing a high pass and whatnot. But I feel like the vocal, it feels a little too far away and almost too much the same as the kind of acapella bed that it's sitting in. Yeah, the 300 range, I think I might have suggested that you pull some of it out, and I think maybe you just went a little too far. Like, it just feels a little too much like my ears need to pop, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's almost like hollow or something. So I don't think I guess I could listen to the last version you sent. But I think the biggest thing is that I think those vocals should come up a bit. I feel like they should, again, the similar metaphor as the water and the ocean and the vocals. I think that you're almost like barely breathing above the water with those main vocals, where maybe you should aim to kind of be like, like your collarbone and above. I don't know if that helps you with how to turn your vocals up or not, but that's how I would picture it. I feel like the vocals, the main vocals should come up a bit and maybe even have a little bit more reverb on them to make them gel with the other vocals. Like I think that, I don't think they should be completely reverbed out or anything. And I do believe that they have some. Lying in an open field, waiting for the... Yeah, if they were just a little bit more beefy in the 300 hertz range, they had a little bit more reverb, and they were maybe 2 or 3 decibels higher in the mix, I think that would be like the sweet spot. Now, when the drums came in... the cymbal, I can really hear the compression on the cymbal. You can almost hear it sounding like it's sidechained by the kick drum. So I just bring the cymbals down. Like maybe just bring the cymbals down 2 or 3 dB. I know I always say 2 or 3 dB because that's kind of like enough where you would hear a difference, but not enough that it would drastically change the balance. But I think that the cymbals, I didn't know what the problem was. I think it's just too loud. And at some point, I don't know if you're bussing your drums or if it's maybe just the master bus, but at some point, the cymbal and the kick drum both hit some compressor at the same time. And then that kick is causing the compressor to duck, and we're hearing the cymbal duck as a response to that kick drum. And it, not only that, but the cymbal just I think cymbal is just too loud. Because it's like a sha sha sha, like it sounds kind of like it's it sounds like a side chain. Yeah, no worries, bleed. Yeah, I think it just needs to be a bit tighter, a bit punk, but not punk, but more punk than it is. Yeah, I don't think you have to do a whole lot on the drums. I think it's mostly just the cymbal is just a bit too loud. I'm wondering about this. It looks like you have a 192 line as well. Which I don't understand, because this is obviously it's all you. So I would maybe look into that too, because it feels like the track itself is missing a little bit of air, like brightness and sparkle. So whatever's causing that 192. I'm not really sure either. But if you have a spectrogram or something you can put on your mix, you could maybe go and solo some, maybe there's like a plugin that's running in low quality mode or something like that. Fresh Air, I've never heard of that. It could it could work, but I don't think it's going to replace the missing frequencies. Like I can kind of, you can see it right here too. Yeah, but she sent a 320 kilobit per second, so I don't know, because I checked. But you can clearly see that there's some missing data in the top end of the vocals. So I would investigate, because I think that if you could get that air back, it might even help with the main vocal problem. This issue becoming world problem. Yeah, I don't know. Look into it, and if you need help, you can DM me some screenshots or whatever. But I think there's something. Maybe it's a plugin. Maybe it's a plugin that's running in low quality mode and it's somehow compressed. It's weird to me. Or if you stemmed something out to load into another project, did you stem it out as a low quality MP3 and then load that into your project? It's hard for me to say, but I can tell you for sure that there's something going on based on the spectrogram. And then I think I have one other note. Because you can still see it. Like there's some elements that are punching through all the way to 20 kilohertz, but then there's other elements that are stopping at 16 kilohertz. So yeah, it's something to look into. Because I think like the drums, when the drums come in here, they feel kind of muted in the top end. Like they kind of feel like they're just chunky in the bottom end, but not a lot of sparkle at the top. And I maybe that's due to whatever's causing that weird thing. But if you have a spectrogram or something that can show you what I'm looking at, it doesn't have to be wave candy, but something like that in the DAW that you use, just put it in your master bus and see if it shows up. Or render it out as a wave and send it, and I can pull it up and see. Actually, if you're able to, just right now render it out as a wave and send it, and then we'll see if it's a render issue or if it's something in the mix issue. Because the only other real note that I had was that when it gets to this section, you just DM it or whatever, just anywhere. Here, I'll unlock the December 9th. There, you just chuck it back in the same place. Yeah. Okay, yeah, do that, because I just kind of felt like in your chest. It kind of felt a little dull in the top end, but I'm looking and I'm seeing some dipping down here. I'm seeing some dip there. So it could be just that quality issue and not necessarily a mix issue. But besides that, the track file exceeds size limit. Oh, I don't know. Can you Dropbox, WeTransfer? I don't know. Google Drive, send me a link. SoundCloud, I'll download it. Whatever. Just figure out a way of getting me the. You could use this guy's track and just fax it directly to me. Yeah, I don't know. Send me a link and I'll have a listen. Okay, but besides that, one other thing. I remember what it was now. Similar to how the cymbal kind of swelled too hard, so did it kind of sounds like Valhalla, what is it called? The sparkly one? Shimmer. That shimmer kind of sound, whatever whatever that is, I feel like that goes a little too hard at moments. I don't remember where specifically. I don't remember where it was, but I think if you basically pull it down the same amount that you pull down the cymbals, then you're probably good, because it kind of poked me in the ears very similarly to how the cymbal poked me in the ears. Okay, send me the link. We're going to move on, and then we'll come back when you send me the link. Okay, Spirit Link, So What with Whalex?
Yeah, they'll go. Yeah. just gets me deeper into this fever, yeah.
Sorry, let me, there.
Deeper into this fever, yeah. I can't get rid of another keeping up, yeah. Keeping up with all the drama. Ain't part of what I want now. Spend my time on. So what? Am I supposed to just let you in? 'Cause that's what you want. So what? Yeah. Lately I just haven't been giving a fuck, yeah. So what?
Another 192 line.
Deeper, yeah. So what? Tell me all you wish. Tell me all you want, yeah, babe. So
Okay, this is cool. One second.
yeah.
I think you should try something. I think that in the drop, I think that when you have the distorted what thing, what's up? Reaching for the jack. We're all closed up for submissions for tonight, but I do it every Friday. So when you do the distorted what on top of the sound design thing, I feel like you should try picking one or the other, and maybe you could alternate, do one then do the other. To me, this drop has a lot of cool elements, but it has a lot of cool elements that are on top of each other, and it's restricting how much I can enjoy each individual cool element, because the what and the thing, they don't necessarily work that well together. They're a bit conflicty in my mind. They sound like they're fighting for my attention. So maybe, I don't know what it would sound like, but it's worth a try. And I'm not saying that it sounds terrible or like it's like it won't work as is, but I think it might sound better if you can restrict how many interesting sounds are happening at the same time, because it's just too much for my ears to focus on at any given time. Because you have one, and then you also have like this distorted, like high frequency, like super saw or like brass. I don't know what it is, but there's a underneath it. Those two things could probably work together because they sound like they could be one thing. That high frequency sound could be a result of the vocal. It probably isn't. It's probably a layer, but it's conceivable that it is the same sound. But the doesn't really sound like it could be part of the vocal thing. So maybe it could be a cool call and response if you hit us with either the what, and then the next time around you hit us with the or maybe you pull out the what for like half of the drop, and then you pull out the for the other half of the drop. It's just a matter of like cleaning up the drop and being a bit more intentional with what's happening at any given point in time. I saw your message, Katia. I will grab the link. Wait, where did you send the link? Is it in production feedback? Okay, tell me where you sent the link and I will grab it. Let's keep listening.
Bet you haven't seen
really like this part. I like the sound design. I feel like maybe the drums are a bit too starty-stoppy. Like you could keep what's there, but maybe if there was just like some sort of rhythm element that doesn't stop in between or doesn't stop in between every time.
I bet you haven't noticed that I haven't been honest lately. Bet you haven't seen me do.
You know what I mean? Like I think starting and stopping like that is cool, but when you do it after every single bar, it kind of just serves to break up the pace of the track or break up the momentum a little bit too much, I think. So you could maybe.
Bet you haven't noticed that I haven't been honest lately.
But then maybe keep the hi-hat loop or something going here. So maybe just starty stoppy half as often as you currently are. Doing it every bar just kind of breaks it up a bit too much, I think.
And you haven't seen me doing everything for you. Well, I think that has been hitting the point. I think that you and me have no time.
I also find that his vocals are maybe a little on the dull side. I feel like it's missing some airiness to they feel almost too overprocessed or something. There's something pulling that very last top percentage of frequencies out of the voice.
No time, yeah. I'm not giving you anything. I wanna know now, yeah. Should we keep it up or keep it real? Yeah. Should we keep it? Should we?
Like if you listen to the S, it almost sounds a little S-H-y.
Should we? You know
what I mean? Shh, shh, s, s, sh, s. It's like the sh this versus the s. And I wouldn't just necessarily go and boost, like 10K and up. I would maybe do a little bit of investigation into what potentially, maybe it's a de-esser. Maybe there's a de-esser that's being a little too active or a multi-band compressor that's getting hit a little too hard. It's always best, I find, before just straight up boosting frequencies is to try and figure out, why do I have to boost the frequencies? Sometimes it's a good idea to listen to the raw recording and see if it's something that happened in the recording process, maybe the mic or how close he was to the mic or what kind of mic or something like that. And start there and move forward and try to determine if you hear what I'm talking about, because this is all very subjective and just because I think it's not bright enough doesn't mean that it's not. That's just how I feel. But if you listen to it and you determine that you think it could be a bit brighter, then do a bit of investigation and try to figure out what's causing that. It's not a drastic change, by the way. I don't think it needs to be 10 decibels brighter. It's a bit. I noticed pretty much immediately. Like on the this word here sounds pretty bright, but the
just gets me deeper into this feeling.
It almost sounds like you've tried to brighten it up to the point where maybe it is hitting a de-esser a bit too hard and the de-esser's like overcompensating. I'm just speculating here. I have no idea. You could have 3 plugins on his vocals or you could have 300 plugins on his vocal. I have no idea. But anyway, it's not a drastic change. Let's keep going.
No time, yeah. I'm not giving you anything. I wanna know now, yeah. Should we keep it up or keep it real? Yeah. We both know that this shit ain't gonna hit.
I also noticed maybe some edits, like
we both know,
like right here. There's like and it's not very natural. It almost I can hear the cut on the comping or on like the slicing of the vocals. So maybe go through and make sure all your cuts and slices are, kind of like faded in a little bit, or maybe you need to pull that breath back a bit, or maybe you got to get rid of the breath altogether. I've noticed it a few different spots where I'm like, oh, I can hear kind of the slicing on this vocal.
Keep it real, yeah. We both know that.
You know what I mean? Right after the
keep it real, yeah. We both know that this shit ain't gonna heal. Yeah. Why do you still keep?
And you can hear the same sound.
Yeah. Why do you?
It's almost like it's almost like he took a breath in before he started singing and you cut it halfway through the breath, and we're not hearing the start of the breath. We're hearing halfway through the breath.
Why do you still keep trying? All the time, yeah. All the time we step over the line, yeah. We keep on begging things to just be fine, yeah. But we know we can keep on lying to ourselves.
Well, that's what you get when you submit shit to me. I will pick it apart, and I'm nice. At least I try to be kind, but I don't let people get away with things. Like this 192 line that I'm going to point out again.
So what? Am I supposed to just let you in? 'Cause that's what you want. So what? Yeah. Lately I just haven't been giving a fuck, yeah. So what? Tell me all you wish. Tell me all you want, yeah, babe. So what? So
I think this part's cool. I think that this second drop does a bit more separation, like I was talking about for the first drop. You're not having the what, but like right here, this one section, like like from here to like here, or well, kind of just like right here. I think there's too many there's too many things on top of each other still. I think you have the chance to make it really cool. I call them like turnarounds, or like it's kind of a fill in a way, but it's at the end of a bar and it does a little thing and then it goes back into the bar again. I think that you have an opportunity to have a really cool turnaround here if you go and delete out stuff that's on top of each other so that it's like more cut and dry, this sound, and then this sound, instead of like all of those sounds kind of all on top of each other. That it still works as is, but if you go and use your delete key and fucking clean up all the things that overlap each other, sometimes the overlap is fun and sometimes the overlap is great and is what the layers, that's what makes it magical. But in this situation, I bet you if you go and delete out some of the layers that are on top of each other, that fill will all of a sudden, or that turnaround thing will all of a sudden have like an identity and be like, holy fuck, it's way better. Like I think the thing that made me realize this was I've written hundreds of songs for TV shows. That was my career for over a decade. And one of the things that I did, my door just opened by itself? That's freaky. One of the things that I did was I worked with my friends to sell their music to TV shows as well. And they would give me songs and I would get them to stem out their songs. And then I would do the final preparing of the song. So they would give me their idea. I would take their stems and then I would go through, load the stems up, and I would basically remix the song, but not in the sense of like making something totally new. But what I found with my friends' tracks was they would have all these really cool little phrases and elements that I didn't really notice when I heard their bounce, when I heard their master or their full song. I didn't notice that this had this cool little thing, and because there was too much shit on top of it. So what I would do is I would go, and a lot of the time all I would do is just go and delete like 8 tracks from this one little quarter note section, and all of a sudden this little lick thing, the synth thing or whatever, it had a chance to like shine in the spotlight, and it made the track way better. So that is what turned my brain on to the fact that deleting shit is one of the most creative processes that you can do when you're working with stuff like this that's so complex and has so many layers. Giving each element its own time to shine is like, it's magical. So anyway, let's keep going. I don't even remember where I left off here. Like this, for example, this is a standout part. This part sounds fucking dope. And I think part of what makes it sound so dope is that it's more simple. That one section is probably my favorite part of this whole song. And I think it's because it's clean, it's simple, it's easy to focus on what I'm supposed to focus on. It's right there in front of me, you know? Anyway, those are my thoughts. I think it's a sick song. Arrangement wise, it might drag on a little in the middle. Yeah, I feel like it might get a little repetitive in the middle, but I'm not sure. I'm not sold on that. I think your best bet is to investigate the issue with the vocals and then try to clean up the drop sections and see how much you can delete. I bet you as you start deleting, the quality will go up. It'll sound better and better and better until a certain point when you've deleted too much and it'll start to nose over and then get too sparse. So try to figure out where that is. I find it's usually best to save it as a new project so that you can just go wild and not have any fear of like, oh my God, how many times am I going to have to undo to get back to where I'm at? If you work off the same project, you're going to hesitate to make big changes. Save it as a new project and fuck that shit up. And then if it sucks, go back to the other project, but it's not going to suck, I guarantee. Money back. All right. Oh, let's check out Kadia's track and see if that 192 thing went away. Yeah, I think it is just a render thing, which is weird because it's a 320. What DAW do you use? Let's compare. So this is the MP3. Oh my God. That's crazy. Look at the change. But it's a 320. A 320 shouldn't have that much compression in the top end. Most of the time, I can't even tell the difference between a 320 and a wave. And I've listened to so many hours of audio in an analytical way. 320s rarely present themselves in that way, but that is what it is. And it makes a difference to the sound.
And the sky is blue and purple. Standing on a lonely beach, watching as the tide rolls in.
Wow. Okay, let's check out the cymbal thing here then. I haven't changed anything since last time I rendered. Maybe it's a setting on your DAW, making all MP3s weird. Well, let's try it. Let me load up, I don't know. I'll grab one of my renders and throw it in and see what it looks like. If I can even remember where my renders are. It's a good one. It's FWLR, stems. I don't know. Sure. Okay, so this is the story about Billy, Joe, and Bobby Sue. I'm just going to convert this to an MP3. You can't see what I'm doing, but you just have to take my word for it that I'm taking a song that's a wave and I'm converting it to a 320 MP3. 320 MP3 convert. It's converting. And let's make sure that I select it. Yep, okay. Constant bitrate 320. All right, here we go. Here's one of my songs as a 320.
The places we found, the water raining down, you laid on the ground, and you made no sound. Honey, it all.
Oh wow, that's doing bad things. Why is it crunchy? Why? Maybe is it? Oops. Why is it crunchy? Let me load in the wave and see if it. Okay. Here's the wave. Okay, now let's render this out as an MP3. I'll just throw it on my desktop because why not? Classic naming convention. MP3. 320. Start render. Split mixer tracks. No. I've never had this issue before with 320s though. That's why I'm confusion. Let's try this again. Save. Split mixer tracks. No. Nah. Okay. I don't know why it's rendering so slow. Why is it rendering? I bet you it's because I have so many tracks. Why would that matter though? I'm sorry, Kadia, that I'm accidentally exposing our DM. Not that there's really anything to expose, but enable master effects. Maybe I should have turned that off. Yeah, is FL just mining Ethereum now? Maybe. Okay, so let's now pull that in. I don't know why it got so crunchy. It's concerning, to be honest. Okay, I saved it as I think it started with an N. Why couldn't I have named it something that would have been easier to find? Because that's not who I am. What the? Where did I render it? Oh my God, are you kidding? I'm growing weary of this task. I'm probably just going to say, oh well, MP3 bad. Anyway, so I guess we figured out the mystery of Kaidia's MP3 line. It's because it was an MP3. Crazy, eh? Your vocals sound a lot better without that line. That still doesn't make sense because that's what it looks like when it's a 192, not a 320. I don't know. I'll have to do some research. Okay, let's move on. Roll with it. I'm going to pronounce it roll with it because I think it's funner to say that way. More fun? More funner? Okay, let me make sure. No, I don't think it's dithering because dithering would actually add frequency. So I don't know because when you dither something, you add basically white noise or different kinds of noise. That's what dithering is, right?
Hush, my heart can take the whispers. Stop, I said goodbye to you. Hush, I'm far away from fixing. Stop, circling my head, oh my head. Haunted by you in my dreams, you'll never leave me. 'Cause ghosts got nowhere else to be. I can't believe my luck. Right up, right up, right up to the end of time. Haunted by you in my dreams, you'll never leave me up.
The cut's a little, I don't know if you did it on purpose, but the head, it sounds more like Ed, like it like cuts in halfway through head. Not halfway through, but like 10 milliseconds longer than it should have. Okay, this is pretty cool. I think the transients on the drop are maybe a bit intense. They're very sharp. They almost sound, and I'm pretty sure they have been added on top of the normal drums. Maybe it's okay. I'm just making an observation. I'm not saying it's necessarily a problem, but the transients are very sharp. But I do have one valuable idea for you, I think. And it's that when you drop, I feel like you're dropping into what should be halfway through the drop. Like this to me sounds like what halfway through the drop should sound like. Like that sounds like we've already established the drop sound and now we're building it up and letting the audience know that we're moving towards the end of the drop. But that's the very start of the drop. So I think what you should try doing is take this section and move it over, 16 bars or whatever. And then try to figure out how much can I boil that drop section down to its essence and still have it have impact? Because to me, when you drop like that, I feel like you're adding these layers. So we've got kind of this riser layer. We've got really big kind of reverbed drums and stuff. Like there's a lot of kind of of the drums going on, and there's also kind of that offbeat kind of bling, that boom, boom, that thing on the upbeat, dun 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 dun. I'm not saying that can't be there at the start, but I think you should at least try to do what I just did. Take what you got and move it over so that it's, one section. It's like the B section of the drop. And then just how much can I simplify the start? Because I think Happy New Year late as well. I think that I don't know, it could also be my personal preference, but I like dropping as bluntly as possible to establish what the drop is and then hold some of that elaboration off. Don't elaborate on the drop until you have to. So maybe it's, what's the first drop do? It's almost like it has too much atmosphere right off the hop, where it should maybe just be kind of like more like caveman, and then bring in all the atmosphere and stuff. Cause it's not that it sounds bad. It just kind of sounds premature. It sounds like you're elaborating on something that you didn't initially establish. You didn't introduce us the drop before you started elaborating on it. That's the way that I kind of look at it. And then how long is the track? Yeah, it's only 2. So I don't think I don't think the track's going to get too long or anything by adding an extra 16 bars or however many bars by creating a more kind of blunt, simplistic, I guess I don't need to make that second cut, do I? Well, no, I do kind of. So yeah, now you're going to be closer to maybe 3.5 minutes, which is totally fine. I think. But that, besides maybe turning the transients down just a little bit, that's basically my note on this is, what would it sound like? Again, maybe save it as a new file so that you can go and try implementing Fowler's notes and then determine that he's an idiot and you shouldn't follow anything he says, but at least try to see how simple can I drop? Because if you can drop simple is almost always better, because you can always get more complex. But if you drop complex, then you got to make it more complex. And if it's already complex, then how complex can you make it, So that's my note. That's my note on this is try to make a little section, a drop section, see how simple you can make it. Besides that, I mean, some of the cuts were a little sloppy on the head. I'd probably fix that. It's kind of like in the No Man's Land where I wasn't sure if it was an intentional cut, but then the second time it played, it was slightly different. So it kind of sounded like a mistake to me. Like you just kind of cut it and didn't maintain the H of the head. You cut off the H and now we have Ed. Besides that, I mean, the mix of stuff sounds good to me. That the track, it kind of reminds me of like, it's got kind of that like, there's a word. It starts with an M. I can't think of it right now. It's like when you're being like mischievous. It's got a mischievous feel to it. The melody and the way it's kind of dun 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 dun, like it's got a mischievous vibe, which I dig. So I like the track. I think that I would at least try it. Try it. If you don't like it, whatever. But at least try it. Okay, last one of the day. We got a Cat Attack song. We haven't heard a Cat Attack song in a while. Oopsies. So let's see what Cat Attack has been up to with the song. That was sick, besides the 192. And thank you for demonstrating the 192 line for us. That is the most clear and definitive line of the 192. I think it sounds I think it sounds dope, dude. I think it sounds dope. Yeah. You're talking with an actual pianist to do this outro, so it's a placeholder. That's interesting because I don't even I wouldn't have thought that needed to be any better. Maybe the timing, the timing's a bit rigid to have it come across as realistic. So maybe it's a good call to do that. But I feel like you, of all people, could probably go through and humanize the timing of those notes. Like the timing is a bit too robotic, and you know, I get where you're coming from with that. Anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. I love you all. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you next week with some more music to listen to. And hopefully it's all so good. Okay. Goodbye. Have a good weekend. Goodbye.